Hi, and welcome back to the I Do Me podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Stanley. Now, if I say the word masturbation, do you feel yourself tense up? Maybe you look away, maybe you shift uncomfortably in your seat. If you answered yes to any of that, you're in the right place. This is the episode that you need to hear. We're going to be talking about shame today. How did it get tied to masturbation? How can we flip the script, reconnect, and give ourselves permission to fall back in love with ourselves? So, if you're not already, get comfy, grab a drink, and let's explore. So, you may remember me saying in the introduction that I went to a Catholic school. I grew up in a small town, conservative family. I learned what's called the don't touch narrative, right? Certain parts of the body are private parts. They're not for anyone to explore, they're private. You don't touch them, no one else touches them. It's wrong to touch them. And this is the beginning of where the shame comes from. The result of this narrative is that secrecy is not the same thing as privacy. It morphs into shame. Now, whether or not you went to a Catholic school, maybe you come from a certain cultural or religious background, masturbation is something that is often in religious backgrounds, it's temptation or it's the lack of discipline. It's the idea that good people don't want to do it because it's desire and desire is sinful. You also have the issue where masturbation is the punchline in society. It's funny, it's awkward, it's often sort of angled as, teens or single people that are hiding this sort of behavior. So, what if this was something that universally is only ever joked about? It's funny, it becomes not important. We also have the issue where self love and masturbation is gender scripted, right? It's from an early age, boys are encouraged to expect desire from interactions, not just with themselves, but with other people as well. Whereas girls are taught the opposite. It's something that someone else is responsible for. It's not okay for you to be giving yourself this pleasure or for you to be exploring yourself in this way. But it is okay for boys. And that leads to pleasure being framed as performance. It's a job, it's something to be done rather than experienced for yourself. We always have an issue where we live in a productive society, especially here in Australia. We work so many hours, we do more than we have to, we go above and beyond. It's just in our nature, right? But that sort of productivity culture leads us to think that, well, self pleasure, making time for yourself at all, is indulgent. It's selfish, even. It's not something that you should be prioritizing or making time for at all. So, that mindset of masturbation being wasted time, that leads to us having this idea that masturbation or self love, spending time on it, is wasted time, as opposed to spending time on self care, spending time on mental health, something that's actually important. You wake up in the morning, you wash your face, you moisturize your skin. That's self care. But for some reason, spending time in the morning or in the evening to masturbate doesn't count as self time. That's a waste of time. That's time that you could be spending what? Working extra hours or studying for a new skill, maybe starting a podcast. But it's a waste of time. The time you could have spent being productive has instead been spent on something that we don't consider to be self-care. So I guess my first question to you is, those are all so far external voices. That's not your inner voice. We're going to get to that in a minute. But if you stripped away all of those external voices, what would your perspective on pleasure actually be? And it's important to remember that it wasn't always this way. This way of thinking, this sort of shame culture around the way we see our own bodies, the way we think about self-love and self-pleasure, it's new. It's fairly new anyway. The ancient Egyptians have this goddess named Hathor. Now, she's sometimes known as the Seven Hathors. Egyptian mythology is a little bit funny like that. Hathor is the goddess of love, lust, pleasure, all of these sort of wonderful things. The ancient Egyptians' word or their expression for masturbation was actually the hand of God. That was the incredible way they used to describe in ancient Egypt the act of masturbation, the hand of God. And that's what we need to get back to. It is divine. So, why does this shame culture thrive? Why does it stick around? Why is it so hard to get rid of or even recognize in the first place? The first thing is that it thrives in silence. Nobody talks about it. And the less we talk about it, the more it feels like something we shouldn't be talking about in the first place, which is why we're here together. We're exploring. Your body remembers that shame, that embarrassment. So if you've ever been walked in on masturbating by a friend, by a partner, by a parent, God forbid, that is trauma and embarrassment, and that will stick with you. It may not like be top of mind, but your body remembers it. So every time you go to indulge, your body remembers, no, no, no. What if we get walked in, or what if someone sees us? It sticks with us. And that sort of shame, that embarrassment, it shows up as rushing. So you might decide, oh, I'm gonna put some time aside to masturbate. I've got 10 minutes. I have to come in those 10 minutes. That's the time I've allotted for this exercise, or whatever you might consider it. We're rushing. That's it. 10 minutes, that's all we've got. When that time runs out, we're done, whether we're done or not. Or you might avoid it altogether. You might disconnect completely from that self connection that you had during intimacy with a partner. And the result of that is that when you are with a partner, it becomes impossible to ask for or communicate to your partner what you know feels good for you. So, shame is basically, instead of being that little demon that sits on your shoulder and tells you, oh, ask them to do this, it feels really good. Instead, it's the backseat driver. It's the person behind you saying, hurry up and get this over with. Don't tell them anything. Just let them do whatever they want. And if it feels good, it feels good. And if it doesn't, at least it will be over soon. So how do we start reframing this idea. How do we move away from shame and towards self love? And the first step is we have to start thinking about masturbation as body literacy, right? It's your body communicating with you directly. It's your body telling you, yes, that feels good. No, that's boring. Yes, we're heading in the right direction. You have to learn the language that your body is speaking to you in and get used to reacting to that and listening to that. And part of listening to that is shifting from the idea that pleasure isn't just feedback. It's not just receiving signals from the body and going, yes, no, yes, no. It's not an indulgence either. We're listening to what our body's telling us, we're taking it on board, and we're going to implement it and improve on it as we move on. So we're moving away from that sort of rushing, getting it over with, and instead, we're going to look at this as spending time with yourself, spending time in yourself with your body. And it's not just about listening to your body, it's trusting yourself with your body. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, Nicole, that sounds like a lot of effort. That sounds like a lot of work. Why? Why should I bother? I'll tell you why. Number one, masturbation and orgasm releases endorphins. These are natural mood boosters. It's going to make you feel good overall. It will lift your mood. It interrupts stress cycles. So, masturbation, it lowers cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. It's going to make you stress less. It helps regulate anxiety because the rhythmic stimulation and breath control involved in masturbation and orgasm helps with anxious responses. So when you start feeling that impending doom sort of shortness of breath during an anxiety attack, masturbation is something that can help with that. It's going to help you sleep better. Post orgasm, your body is going to be flooded with prolactin and oxytocin. So it promotes relaxation. It's going to help you actually feel tired. You can stop doom scrolling, except for this podcast. Don't stop scrolling on my feed, but it's gonna help you fall asleep. And if you're someone who needs a ritual, right? If you're, shout out to all of my ADHD brothers and sisters, if you are someone who needs a routine, incorporating masturbation into that routine, it's it's going to help. It becomes the reward, the relaxation at the end of the day that closes off the day. You can go to sleep, you can start the next day relaxed, refreshed, ready to face all the horrors of the world. As if that wasn't enough, there are some physical benefits as well. So, masturbation helps with blood flow to your pelvic tissues. So it's going to support lubrication and erectile health. It's going to help with pelvic floor control. It's going to help with orgasm control, and this is something for both boys and girls. It's going to help you improve your responsiveness during interactions with other people. And then having that deeper connection with yourself, with your own body, obviously that translates to better relationship outcomes as well. because you can communicate the lessons that you've learned from your own body to your partner straight from the get-go. You can forget about the guessing games. You don't need to just lie back and hope that they know what they're doing and then give it a 1 out of 10 and move them on. You can communicate right from the start. No, this is what I want, this is what I need. I've asked my body told me this is how we like it. So we've gone through shame, where it comes from, how we can reframe it, why we need to reframe it, the benefits of communicating more clearly with our bodies, communicating more clearly with sexual partners. I've got a special treat for you. We're going to do an exercise. Now, if you're driving right now or you're at work, pause this episode now. I'm not interested in reading about flip cars by horny people on the freeway. I don't want to hear about people losing their jobs on Perth now because they were caught in the bathroom masturbating. We're not doing that. So, pause here if you're not in a safe space. Play the rest of this episode when you get home. If you are home and you're ready, I want you to find a quiet space. Dim the lights, light a candle. Whatever makes the room feel comfortable for you. If it's too cold, turn the fan off. If it's too hot, turn the aircon on. Once you're ready for that, I want you to sit or lie down, whichever's more comfortable for you. And I want you to either close your eyes or at least soften your gaze. So don't have your eyes fully open. Don't stare at that spot on the wall. Just relax your eyes. And then I want you to take 3 very deliberate, slow breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And while you're doing this, I want you to exhale for longer than you inhale. Breathe in for 2, breathe out for 3. Once you've done that 3 times, I want you to acknowledge and let your body know that there are no expectations for the rest of this exercise. No expectations to perform. We're doing an awareness exercise. So I want you to focus on sensations, things like the temperature in the room that you're in, pressure, any sensation that you feel, but you don't have to react to anything. I just want you to notice it. And we're going to start at the bottom, in your toes. You don't have to wiggle your toes, just be aware of them. Are they warm? Are they cool? Do you feel any pressure in your toes? And then I want you to move up through your feet, through your calves, into your knees, into your thighs, and just keep moving it up. Again, don't react to anything. There's no expectation for reaction here. We're just being observant. Up through your hips, into your belly, chest, through your shoulders, down your arms, hands and fingertips. Give yourself permission to listen to your body. And anything that you do feel, encourage the curiosity of it, but don't question what's going on. Feel your breath as it comes in and out of your torso. But again, don't react, just notice. When you're finished, thank your body for anything that it did allow you to feel, including any pleasure that may have come from your observations. Know that your body is your home and give yourself permission to communicate with it. And then when you're ready, open your eyes again and go back to whatever it was you were doing before you started listening to this. That is all I have time for you today. Next week, we are going to be going into Sex Toy 101. So, everything I learn about sex toys from working in a sex shop, I'm going to impart that knowledge to you so that you can walk into a sex shop or go on that website, whatever your preference is, 100% confident and know what you're looking for. And if you're not already, follow me on socials. And as always, if you want to see the face behind the voice, watch me on YouTube. I'm so glad you joined us tonight. See you next time.